Hello everyone, it's Nicholas, and today we're going to deal with setting up your autoresponder inside of GrooveMail. Now, if you've just got into GrooveMail, you'll notice now that you need to set up an SMTP, as you can see here, to be able to use GrooveMail. Now, first of all, this option is only available currently to upgraded members. So if you're not an upgraded member, you don't have this option. So you can stop watching the video right now. But if you're an upgraded member, we need to set up SMTP. So how do we do this? Well, what we need to do is we need to come down here to Senders. We're going to click on Senders. When we get into the Senders section, it tells you that you need to configure an SMTP. So you need to add a new sender. So we're going to click on Add a new sender. Now, we need to put in some details here, right? So the sender identity will be an email address. The sender name will be the name of the company or the name of the business or whatever you want to put here, maybe even your own name. And then we're going to put in the sender email, and then we need to assign a SMTP driver, as you can see here. Now today we're going to focus on Sendgrid, but this is not the only thing we need to do. We also need to put in the business info, so the name of the company and the email address that is being used to send out email. So let's just go back to sender info. So the first thing we want to do here is we need to set up a Sendgrid account. So I'm going to go over to Sendgrid, and here is Sendgrid. And to set up this account, what you want to do is come into products, and in products we want the SMTP service. So I'm going to click on here, and then we can set it up for free. So click on try it for free. And the first thing you want to do is set up an email address to use for your Sendgrid account. Now, what I want to do is just show you an overview first of how this is all going to come together and how it integrates with Groove, and why you also will need what we call a ZOHO email account. Now, I did a video yesterday on this, so if you haven't watched that, then go and have a look at that first. You'll find that on our YouTube channel. You'll also find it in our Facebook group. But just back to Sendgrid. To get started, again, I want to show you a full map of what we're laying out here, right? So here is how this process works. You have a Groove account, and at the moment it will be attached, and you should have a domain name already set with somebody like Namecheap, which has been attached to Groove, and Groove through Cloudflare does the hosting and SSL, and so all of this works together. Okay, on that Groove site you've attached Groove pages. And what we're going to do now is we're going to work on GrooveMail. But you'll see down here what I've done is I'm using a Gmail account in this case to create any accounts that I need. So you may have used your Gmail account to create an account with Groove. You may have used your Gmail account to create an account with ZOHO. But we're also going to use the same Gmail account in this case to create an account with Sendgrid. So this is where we're at. We're going to create an account with Sendgrid. Now, yesterday in the ZOHO email, setting up the ZOHO account, I said to you, we're going to go and create an email. So the email address we created yesterday, okay, is for you to be able to send and receive email based on your domain name. So the email address you created yesterday will allow you to receive and send email, e.g. to customers. So if a customer sends you an email, it will come through your ZOHO account to your send and receive email, and that allows you to also respond to those customers, okay? And that will be attached to, let's say, the contact form on a Groove Pages website. What we're going to do today is we're going to create a second email account within ZOHO. This email account is going to be specifically for the autoresponder system, in other words, GrooveMail. We're going to then attach this email account through SMTP services on Sendgrid, and then we're going to put the details from Sendgrid into our GrooveMail account so that we can use the second email address here to send an email out through our GrooveMail autoresponder to the different lists we want to send email to. Now, the important thing to note here is that this email address, whichever it is one email address for all of these lists, right? It will be attached to all of these lists. So if you wanted a different email address for different lists, what you will need to do is create another email address in the ZOHO. You will need to then follow this process again to attach it to Sendgrid so that you can choose this new email address, a different email address, to be attached to GrooveMail so you can send it out to a different list. But we will get on to that in a few moments. So let's just go back and let's start with Sendgrid. So first of all, we're going to create a Sendgrid account, and if you just remember from this here, we're going to use our Gmail account that we used yesterday for ZOHO to create our Sendgrid account. I'm going to go in and we're going to create our Sendgrid account. I'm going to fill out this and then I'm going to click create account, and I'll see you on the next page. Okay, so on this page, it's a tell us about yourself. So you need to go through and fill out all this information, right? First name, last name, the company. So this should be the domain name, basically, I would suggest, and the website, which is why I said to you that you also need to have this Groove Pages. If I just go back here, this Groove Pages page already set up inside of your Groove account, right? That is ready to go. So you need to have this page as well, being the website, right? So you need to put in the website. You need to put in all of the details here. Select your country, put in a phone number, select what type of service it is, developer, marketer, CEO, or other. How many emails do you send per month? So you need to tick one of these options here, and then how many employees at your company, and then click get started, and that will take us through to the next page. So I'm going to go and do this, and I'll see you on the next page. Okay, so you can see the page that we're brought to here asks us to set up a sender identity. Now, to do that, we want to click on create a single sender identity. So I'm going to click on here, and then it's going to ask me to put in all of the information for that identity. So you can see over here, first name, from email address, reply to, company. So same as before, you need to put all of these details in here. Now, it's really important to note here that these details in here are going to be exactly the same as is going to be in the sender identity here and the business info here, right? So sender identity and business info that's in GrooveMail is going to be the same information that's here in Sendgrid. But to be able to create a from email address, in other words, the email address we're going to be using in GrooveMail, we need to create this email address first, and this is why we need to go back to ZOHO. Again, if you didn't watch my video yesterday on ZOHO, then go and have a look for it on our YouTube channel or inside our Facebook account. Now, to create a new email address, which is what we want to do, we want to create a new email address specifically for the GrooveMail autoresponder. Again, if I bring up this map, it is this email address here that's attached to ZOHO that we're going to be creating so that we can put it through Sendgrid and use it for GrooveMail. Right. So how do we do that? Well, to begin with, we need to create another email address inside our ZOHO account. So to do that, we're going to come up to my profile here, and we're going to click on admin console. We need to go to the administrator's console to be able to add in a new email address. Now, as you can see here on the console, currently we've got 1 of 5 licenses. So 1 email address of the 5 we have available. So I'm going to come over on the left to users, click on users, and then I'm going to click on add to add in a new user. Now, you'll see here, the first name will be required and is going to be displayed on outgoing emails, same as the last name, right? That's also used as a display name on outgoing emails. So you want to put in the business name here if you can, or you could use your own personal name. But remember, again, this is going to display on your outgoing email. So in this case, I'm going to put in my business name twice here, like this. And then when I click in here, you'll see it automatically uses those names for the email address. I don't want that. I want this list or this email to be for a specific list that I'm going to build out within Groove Mail. So I'm going to call this one news. I'm going to type in news and then click away like this. And then I need to put in a password. Now, I've already created a password for this account. It's just off the screen. So I'm just going to copy it and paste it in here like this. Now, once you put your password in, you'll probably want to untick this button here, because otherwise, when you go to log into this account later using this email address, it will change or force you to change the passwords. If you want to keep this password, untick it and then click on add. Okay, so once your account has been created, then you're done and you can go back to the dashboard like that, and you'll see you then have 2 email addresses. All right, from here, what I want to do is I want to go back to the mail program. So I'm going to click on the home button here, and this is going to log me back in to the parent account. So the main account, or the first email address that we set up. So what I'm going to do from here is I'm going to come into settings here. Then I'm going to come down to where it says add new address. I'm going to click on here. And over here, I want to add a new address, and you can see it's already set to add a new address. I'm going to come over to ZOHO, and now I want to put in the name for the outgoing email. So exactly as I did, like that, and then the email address that I created. So, all right, once I've got the email address in, I'm just going to leave it to the ZOHO SMTP for sending the mail, and I'm going to click on send verification. Right, and what you'll see is over here, you'll get this thing that says verify now. And so when I click on verify, it says you would have received a verification email at that email address, and I need to put in the confirmation code. All right, so I'm just going to cancel that for the moment, right? And what I want to do is go back to my inbox. But you'll see here at the moment, if I come up to my profile up here, you'll see the account I'm in is the parent account, right? And that's no good. I need to sign out of this account. So I'm going to sign out of this account, close anything else I've got open, and I need to sign in to the new email address I've just created. So I'm going to click sign in. I'm going to put in the email address here. Got it off screen. I'm just going to copy it in here like this. I'm going to go next and then put in the password like this. Copy it just off the screen. Here we go. Paste and sign in. And we will check for the email verification from Sendgrid. What you want to do is in the inbox folder, you want to come down to the smart folders, okay? So there's a smart folder created for newsletters, and there's a smart folder created for specific notifications. And here are the Sendgrid emails, right? So I'm going to click on this second one. And it says, let's verify your single sender so you can start sending. Like, it's links available for 48 hours, so you can verify the single sender. Let's click on that, and that will take us through and verify, hopefully, that email address with Sendgrid and take us back to our Sendgrid account. We'll just give it a moment to log in and qualify everything. And here we go. Sender verified. Congratulations, your sender identity has been successful and is verified. So I can return to single sender verification and finish that off completely. And there we go, single sender verification, updates from and reply. I gave it a nickname of Affiliates Crusher Groove Mail, so I know what it is, and it's verified. Now, over here in the actions, I can edit it or delete it. I also have all my address details in here as well. So that is fully compliant. Now, I'm going to scroll down here on the left-hand side to where it says API keys. I'm going to click on API keys, and it says get started, generate an API key. So I'm going to click on create API key like this. And the API key to get, fetch, put, delete, post, and do all sorts of everything. I want to give it full access, not restricted access, right? Or billing access. You need to give this full access, and you need to give it a name. Now, the idea up here would be to call it Groove Mail, so you know what it's for, right? It's an API key for Groove Mail. And even better yet, put the list name in here as well, so you know what this is for, right? So you know it's Groove Mail updates, or newsletter, or whatever it was you called your email address, so you know what it's attached to, right? And then come down here and click create and view. So I'm going to click on create and view, and that will give me a key. Now you need to be really careful here, because as it says up the top here, you need to copy this key and keep it somewhere safe, because once you click on done below, you will not see this key again. Now you need to make sure you take a copy, so copy it and paste it into a text document and save that document somewhere that you know you can get back to it in the future. Okay, so once you click the done button, this is the screen that we end up on. Now, some people think that this is the API key because it says API key here, but in fact, the API key that we're going to need for Groove Mail is this API key here. And as you can see, it's hidden and we can't change it. Of course, you can come in here and you can delete it, and you can edit it, and you'll have to go through the process of getting a whole new API key. So if you didn't copy this down, then you'll have to actually go through the process and create another key. All right, next step. The next step is we need to go back to our ZOHO account. Now, if you remember where we left off, we were in the account that we just created. So I need to go into my profile here, and we need to log out of this account. So you can see this is the email address we're in at the moment, and we need to log back into the super user account, right? So I'm going to sign out of here, and I'm going to log in with the email address we actually used to create our ZOHO account. So back up to sign in and put in the email address and the password, because I want to get back into the dashboard, because there's something I really need to do in here before I can actually finish setting up Groove Mail. Otherwise, we're going to be in trouble and we're not going to receive the verification email from Groove. So once I've logged in, I'm going to come up here, and now I'm going to go to admin console again, right? So click on admin console, and on the left hand side over here, I want to come over to security and compliance. I'm going to click on here. And then in security and compliance, I'm going to come into spam control, right? I'm going to click on spam control. And what I want to do is temporarily turn off all these spam processes for my account. So I'm going to turn it off. Now, this will turn off spam processing for all emails on your account, right? Because you're coming in as the super administrator. So we're going to want to turn this back on when we're finished. But for the moment, we're just going to disable it. Okay, brilliant. That is disabled. Once that's done, I'm actually just going to come up here, and I'm going to go back to my account here, and I'm going to sign out, right? Sign out of that account completely, and then I can, from there, I want to go and sign back in, but I want to sign in to the email address that I'm going to be using for Groove Mail. So now, in this case, here is the email address. Put in the email address and put in the password. Okay, put in the password, save, and save it like that. And that'll bring us to this page, and what we want to do is click on this Access ZOHO Mail, and that'll take us into the mailbox for that account, all right? And we're ready to receive another notification in a minute from Groove Mail. So let's get back into Groove Mail. We're going to go into Groove Mail, and we're going to add in our sender now. So I'm going to click on New Sender. And the first thing I want to put in here is the business information. Right now, this is the information that we supplied in our email. So I'm just quickly going to type all this in. So this will be the information that you put into your Sendgrid account for your email. So I'm going to put that in. I'm going to click save, and then I'm going to come back to the sender info here. This is the email address we created from our ZOHO account. That was the second email address. I'm going to put in the company name here, right? And then I'm going to put in the email address into this box here. So I'm going to paste it in and into this box here. I'm just going to move my arrows on my keyboard, as you can see, to lock it in. Okay, then I want to come down to where it says Sendgrid, and I'm going to click on this. And this is where the important part happens. So that API key that I said you needed to save from before, this is where we need to grab the API key, and we need to put it into this box. So I've got it off screen. I'm just going to copy it. I'm going to paste it in here, and then I'm going to move my mouse pointer a couple of times on the keyboard, and then click save, and that will lock it in. And there we go. Now you can see now it's set it as the default email address. In other words, this will be the primary email address. Every time I go to send out a notification, by default it will send to this list unless I change it to a different list and add in a new email address here, which means I'll have to go back through the entire process we've just been through of adding in another email address into our ZOHO account, verifying it with Sendgrid, and then coming back here and adding it in. Alright, but now that we've added in, you can see it's not verified, so I need to go back to my email address and have a look here, make sure we're in the right email address, right? So we're in updates, that's fine. And what I'm going to do is just refresh this inbox and see if we get an email from Groove. Okay, now it can take a couple of moments to come through, but you'll notice, like we did with Sendgrid, it'll be in the Smart Notifications folder. So I come down here, here is the Groove Mail email verification. I'm going to click on this, it's going to open up, and it's asking me to verify, right? So I'm going to click on verify here, and we'll wait for the verification notice to come up from Groove Mail here at the top. Verification successful. So I can close this tab off. I can then go back to Groove Mail, and you'll see it still says not verified. But if I come over and refresh my web browser and give it a moment, then you will see that the email address should be verified in Groove. There you go, we are verified, and we are ready to rock and roll with our new email address, which is verified in our domain name. It's connected to Sendgrid via our API, so we can send it. But the last thing we want to do is go back into our folders here and our email. I'm going to delete this email now because I don't want it. Okay, I'm going to delete it out of there. Then the last thing I'm going to do is come up to my profile again, and I want to sign out. Why? I want to go back into my super admin account, right? So I'm going to sign out of here, and then I'm going to go back to sign in up here, and I'm going to sign in with my super admin username and password. So that was the very first details that we used to create our account. So this is our Gmail details again. When I say super admin login, this is what I mean, so that we can get to that account. So I'm going to put that in. I'm then going to paste this in here. Okay, log into my account, and then I can come back up to my profile. I can come into the admin console, which is where I want to be, and then I can then go over to security and compliance again, and I can come into spam controls, and I can turn on my spam control again, right? That will stop any emails coming into your account that are spam based. But remember, this email address primarily that we've just set up is only for the autoresponder, right? It's not for sending and receiving emails generally. If you remember, way back in the beginning, I showed you that we're using Gmail to set up Groove and to set up Sendgrid and to set up our ZOHO account, right? And as far as the email addresses are concerned, the Gmail account is what allows us to log into our ZOHO administrator account, right? The primary account. And inside this account, when we first set it up, the first email we set up was this email address over here. so we can send and receive email like a normal email address, right? So this is the inbox you'd be logging into on a regular basis. This email address here, which was the second email address we created, is the one we've attached to Sendgrid, which will allow us to send and out email broadcasts via Groove Mail, right? So this email address here, we're really never going to use. It's only this one we want to use to send and receive on. All right, so that's it. That's the entire process. Hopefully having that map in front of you will remind you. So just a quick update, right? You're going to need to create a ZOHO account. Use the Gmail account to create it, log in, and you will create this email address. Then we're going to log out of there, okay? And we're going to use the Gmail account to log in to the Sendgrid account and set up Sendgrid. And then we're going to go backwards and forwards between the ZOHO account and the Sendgrid account to get the verification and get Sendgrid verified. Then we're going to come back into ZOHO and we're going to create another email address right in here. And then we're going to go back into ZOHO and switch between the administrator account and the email address to be able to set up some details in ZOHO so that we can get the email verification from Groove. We're then going to go into Groove Mail and set up all of the details with this second email address. Once we've verified it, we're going to go back into the primary account in ZOHO, change the spam filters back, and we are ready to rock and roll with our Groove account. So enjoy. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.